baby. Here we go. All right. This is nice. Spacing wise, I was surprised the first time I jumped into a Seltos, which was actually for the 2022 model year. And the reason why is the amount of space back here. Like, I did not think I'd be able to fit in the second row whatsoever, but I mean, I've got the driver's seat set up for somebody who's 6 feet tall. I'm 6 feet, and I've got plenty of knee space, good amount of foot space. Up overhead, I've got like 3.5 inches of head, like 3.5 inches of headspace there. So very similar to what you're going to find in the first row. I've got fairly broad shoulders. So could you fit 3 full-size versions of me in the second row? It'd be tight for 3 full-size versions of me, but if you've got younger kids, or I mean, if you want people to be slightly uncomfortable for a tiny little bit, it is possible. But I mean, at the same time, like, spacing is actually pretty nice. But like me in the second row, it's not bad. I don't have as much headspace. Like, it drops it down to about 2.5 inches or so roughly of headspace when I'm in that middle seat of the second row. But I mean, you need people in the second row, and you've got that as an option. But very similar to what we saw in the first row. Nice glossy highlights along the door. We've got that same cool texture for the speaker in the second row that we saw in the first. I love the Bose speakers set up inside of this thing. It's really, really nice. Now, we do have the option for second row heated seats inside of this vehicle. So certain trim levels will have it. The SX is one of the ones that has it. So a little button there. The heated seats, strictly going to be the outboard seats. So this middle seat is never going to be heated whatsoever. You don't have the option to get that. You could throw money at Kia and they're not going to give you a middle seat that's going to be heated in the second row, unfortunately. One thing I would like to see, it would be kind of neat, is if we could somehow get the cooled seats into the second row. It's typically something you're going to find on luxury vehicles. It would be kind of neat if at a price point, this price point, or something a couple bucks more, we could get that too. It would be really neat. But here nor there, at least having heated seats in the second row is pretty dang cool. We've got pockets, just a single pocket along the passenger side behind the first row. In the armrest, just behind the driver's armrest there, we've got a little basic vent control. No climate control, just for our vents. There's a USB power point, and then a little cup holder back, or little storage space, I should say, back there. We've got cup holders in a few spots, so bottle holders along the door. And then just in the second row, we've got, oh, can't get it there from the bottom, okay. We do have second row cup holders there, so it's kind of interesting. We don't have a tab or anything like that in order to pull it down. You kind of got to jam your fingers in there and then pull down in order to get access to it. But we've got 2 cup holders there, which, again, pretty nice. Now, another thing, the seats themselves are not adjustable. So we can't slide them forwards or backwards. We can't recline them either. So they're locked into place there, unfortunately. But, I mean, one of the nice things is that it is a 60-40 split for the bench. So 60 on the driver's side, 40 on the passenger. So if we ever need to fold the seats down, we've got that flexibility. Now, the reason why this one's not going down, I have the front row seat, the passenger side, up a teeny little bit too much. But nice flat fold there. Well, close to flat fold, I should say there, which is nice. And then, if you've got child seats, front-facing, rear-facing seats, you're not going to have an issue inside of this thing whatsoever. We've got all of our anchor points along the bottom of the outside seats, and then we've got our tether points behind the first row, or behind the seats on top of that. So if you need to latch on, you've got that flexibility inside of this thing, which is kind of nice. Now, outside of that, a few other things to point out, just for some basics. We've got some assist handles along both the driver and the passenger side with a clothing hook just along the driver's side of the vehicle. Up overhead, we do have, cabin lights. So we can't touch the cabin light to turn it on there. We do have to just do a basic button press to turn those cabin lights on. But it is nice that we've got that control on the inside here. Like I said, I'm surprised at how spacious this thing is. Like, it's the same thing from the 2022 model, but it is really, really spacious. And like, the seats are surprisingly comfortable. Got a good amount of cushion to the butt there, which is kind of nice. Very similar to what we saw in the first row. But this thing is pretty neat. I think Kia did a fantastic job, again, on the 23, which is unchanged relatively from the 2022 model.